morning everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be filming my first video about 2021. So I'm really excited about next year. I know that nothing is going to magically reset when the new year happens, but like, we're done with 2020, we're over it. So the first list of goals that I made for next year, it was kind of like all the series that I most want to read. So I have an embarrassing amount of books on my shelf that I haven't read. And that's a whole other goal. I would like it to be like 75% read, 25% unread. And I'm not exactly sure what it is right now, but it's probably like either 25% read or like 50-50. I'm gonna count soon. And this specifically is a list of ones that are like fully out, so I don't have to wait for the next book to come out in the series. That's a whole nother set of goals, but these ones are like done, finished, I can just binge them. And I'm super excited about all of them. So I wanted to write them down and just make sure that I got through them all in 2021. So obviously I haven't read any of these, so my summaries aren't gonna be the best as per usual. But I have heard a lot about a lot of them, and I'm sure you have too. So let's get started. Alrighty, so first off I have 6 adult series to talk about, and that's kind of another goal too for 2021 is to read more adult books. I do genuinely enjoy them usually, but I just tend to go to YA more often. So I'm trying to remind myself that I like adult books and to get into them more. So the first series is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. These have been everywhere lately, and The Burning God, which is book 3 in the trilogy, just came out, I think, in November. So it's the perfect time to read these while the hype is still kind of ongoing. Right now I just have The Poppy War, which is the first book, and The Burning God, which is the third one. The second one is in the mail from Book Outlet right now, because I got it for like $10, which is great, because adult fantasy is like $34 per book, which is ridiculous. These are supposed to be a super dark war-based fantasy story based on like some Chinese and Japanese history events in real life, which is really cool. Chinese history is one of my favorite like time periods to read about. I think it's really fascinating. They are supposed to be really dark, so hopefully they don't traumatize me, but we'll see. My understanding of the plot is that these follow a girl named Rin, who is like grew up poor, and she manages to test into this elite military academy, but she's kind of like ostracized for her, I believe, race and just like wealth and everything like that. So I'm very excited about these. They might be my first reads of January because I just can't wait to get into them. Or maybe these ones will be my first reads of January. I'm also very excited about the DAEVABAD trilogy, which is The City of Brass, The Kingdom of Copper, and The Empire of Gold. Empire of Gold is not out in paperback right now, so I'm probably going to borrow it from work in hardcover and then buy it when it does come out in paperback. These follow a girl named Nari, who is a con woman in 18th century Cairo, and then I think she summons a djinn and they end up in a magical world. Yeah, like there's a map in the front that is the same outline of our world, but with different cities in it. So I think this is going to be really cool. I've mentioned before how much I love Middle Eastern settings. Chinese history and Middle Eastern settings are like my 2 favorite things in books. I honestly don't know very much about the plot other than what I just said, but Laini Taylor blurbed this one and it says, an extravagant feast of a book, dizzyingly magical and still somehow utterly believable. And I will trust that woman's word. So very much looking forward to these. Okay, next up I have the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. So the first book is the 5th season, second is The Obelisk Gate, and I don't have the third book, but I think it's The Stone Sky. So these are like kind of dystopian, mostly fantasy. I think that like the world, there keeps being apocalypses, and then there is one final apocalypse, and it follows a bunch of different people, I think. That's all I know. So I've just heard really good things about N.K. Jemisin in general, and this won the Hugo Award, so I figure it must be good. Yeah, the plot summary on here is not very helpful. It's just like one of those vague, like beautifully written, but not very helpful ones. That's all I got. I'm looking forward to these. Okay, this is probably like the least serious adult series on here, and that is the All Souls trilogy by Deborah Harkness. We've got A Discovery of Witches, Shadow of Night, and The Book of Life. I can't speak English. And these follow a girl named Diana, who is a young scholar at Oxford Library. She's also a witch, and she meets a vampire, and they aren't supposed to be friends. She meets a vampire, and they aren't supposed to be friends, and I'm pretty sure they end up falling in love. A lot of people have been reading these lately, and there's also a TV show that looks really good. These kind of remind me of Outlander, based on nothing. Like, that's not, the plots are not similar. Maybe just because it's in the UK. I don't know where I'm getting that from. But I think these are going to be really fun, and I'm very excited. I do love a good vampire story. I love witches. I love Oxford. So I figure it's going to be good. Next up is a series that I only own book 3 in, which is kind of weird. My store only has the first couple in paperback, so I'm going to order them eventually. But that is The Never Night Chronicle by J. Kristoff, and this is the third book, Dark Dawn. So I don't want to open this and read the plot summary because it's the third book, so it'll spoil things for me. I'm pretty sure this follows an assassin named Mia. I've heard that the writing style is unique, and that is literally all I know. I think there's a cat. I just know a lot of people have loved these, and they're very iconic, and it feels wrong that I haven't read them yet, so here they are on this list. Next up is A Darker Shade of Magic, or the series is called Shades of London by V.E. Schwab. So I must read everything that V.E. Schwab has ever written after loving The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue so much, and this is one of her most popular series. So I've got A Darker Shade of Magic, A Gathering of Shadows, and A Conjuring of Light is in the mail. These follow a world where there are 4 Londons. Grey London has no magic. Red London, magic is flourishing there. White London, magic is like out of control, and then no one talks about Black London. So there's a boy named Kel who is able to travel between the Londons, and then there's a girl named Lila in Grey London, question mark. I like London. I think it sounds really cool that there's 4, and again, I've heard so much about these, and I figure V.E. Schwab can do no wrong, probably, so I can't wait to read these. Now we are into all the YA series that I'd like to get through. And the first one, I just have the first book in, but it's only a duology, and that is Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. I have heard this described as a Mulan and Project Runway combination, which sounds weird as hell. I think it's about a girl who is in a competition to make a dress. Yeah. I heard, so what drew me into this was a competition, and I heard that the competition is like not actually a very present thing in here, so that's kind of disappointing. But you know, worst case if I don't like it, it's only 2 books. And I have heard that a lot of people did love this, and just look at the cover, it's so beautiful. Tamora Pierce also blurbed the front, and I love her, so we'll see. I am also looking forward to the CONGUEROR'S saga by Kiersten White, which is kind of newer on my radar. I don't have the first book with me, but it's called And I Darken, and then there is Bright We Burn and Now I Rise. She really likes a young adult series. I'm like, ooh, it must be actually good. So she said she liked this one, and I think there's like an anti-hero. Let's see if I can read this without spoiling anything. No, I have no idea what these are about. But look how beautiful. Okay, next up, I'm embarrassed that I haven't read these yet. So I read Percy Jackson. It didn't change my life, but it was really good. I think if I had read it when I was like 12, it would have changed my life, but we're here now, we're 25. And then I bought every single other Rick Riordan book, basically. I have like 2 left. In my defense, most of them were like thrift stores. I didn't pay full price for any of them, but girl, that's like 20 books. And then I don't even know if I'm gonna like them, you know? So I need to start with the Heroes of Olympus. That's the next series. I do know a couple spoilers, which is disappointing, but these are just after the Percy Jackson series, and I think there's like 7 main characters, and they have to do a quest, I think. Yeah, I do like Rick Riordan's writing. I found Percy Jackson was just like a little bit young for me to connect with. So I've heard these are slightly older, so we'll see how I like them. This one's actually middle grade, but I'm just going to throw it in here. So I am looking to read The School for Good and Evil by Saman Chainani. So I've got books 1, 2, and 3 here. I've been loving middle grade lately. I read The Train to Impossible Places and The Glass Sentence and a couple other ones, and loved them. So I've remembered how much I genuinely enjoy reading middle grade, and this one gets a lot of hype. So it's set at a school, which again is the only thing I need to hear to want to read it. And they think they know who's who out of their friendship, and turns out they're wrong. So I think these are going to be so cute. There's also like a companion series after this, so if I really like these, I'll get into that. But for now, I've just got the main trilogy, and I think these are going to be so fun. This one's kind of random, and I don't really hear a lot of people talk about it, but it is the Gold SEER trilogy by Rae Carson. So Rae Carson wrote Girl of Fire and Thorns, that trilogy, and the book that came after that, Empire of Dreams. But she also wrote this trilogy, and I've heard mostly good things, I think. The first book is Walk on Earth a Stranger, and then there is Like a River Glorious and Into the Bright Unknown. And the covers are just beautiful, so that's part of why I want to read them. But I did really like her writing in the last series, and these follow a girl named Lee who can sense gold in the world around her. And I think this is set in like the Gold Rush, California, but like a magical version of it. And I just thought that was a really different concept. So hopefully I like these because I own them all, but I think that I will. 2021 is also going to be the year of getting into Brandon Sanderson. So the first books I've been told to read are the MISTOORN trilogy. I don't love these covers or that they're like little mass market paperbacks, but I got these off Facebook Marketplace for like $10 total, so I couldn't say no. It's pink on the front, that's kind of cute. So these, again, a very vague summary. I don't know what these are about. There's a street urchin. Oh, she's a heroine. Okay, a girl main character, that's good. Must harness the power of a mistborn. I think these ones are, the world has like different magical powers are linked to metal, and you have to consume metal. That sounds familiar to me. Yeah, I've heard that this is a good place to start with him, and I do want to get into reading his like 1,000-page books that are like epic adult fantasy. Why did I take this out? No. There we go. Okay, I also have the entire Illuminae book series in hardcover here. So I found this one on Book Outlet. This one I think I paid full price for. But then this one, I was like, okay, I obviously need the hardcover of Illuminae to match these. And I could not find it, like not even online. I couldn't figure out how to order it. And then some girl posted it on Facebook Marketplace and I got it from her for $10. So that was awesome. I just love the hardcovers because they have these cool dust jackets that are like part see-through. So you can see the inside of the actual book. And they're so cool. So these are about teenagers and the year 2575. And I think they break up and then the same day aliens come and there's a virus, question mark? Great, I love a good virus. Anyway, the main thing I know about these books is that they are told in like mixed media. So they're kind of like files and letters and correspondence, which I haven't read in a long time, but I really liked when I was a kid. So I think that I will enjoy these. Finally is a series that I do not have in my hands at all, but I have ordered in hardcover because I have a problem. So that is the Imperium trilogy by LEGRAND. The books are Furyborn, Imperium, and Lightbringer. Yeah, so the Lightbringer, the final one, just came out again, so it's like a good time to read these. I believe they are dual perspective, about two girls in a kingdom, and that's all I know. I just know that everyone who likes the same books that I like has really loved them. So I hope that I do too, because I ordered them all in hardcover like an idiot. But they're just so beautiful. I'll put a picture here. And I've also heard that they are like, both main characters are bisexual, question mark, so there's a little bit of diversity, and they're supposed to be kind of like Throne of Glass, maybe. I think they're gonna be good, and yeah. So just talking about all these series has reminded me how excited I am. I think there's gonna be so many new favorites in 2021, and if I don't read all these series, then I need to give up my card as a reader. I guess that would be my library card. Let me know if you've read any of these and if you'd recommend that I start with any of them. I still am thinking I'm gonna start with the Poppy War, but we'll see. I'm open to suggestions. All right, so that's it for today. I will see you in my next video. Bye.